Until a viewer mentioned the DrunkDeer brand, I had never heard of this company. So thank you to my viewers. This is a great company. Based out of Hong Kong, DrunkDeer has a compelling proposition. A gaming keyboard with adjustable mechanical switches, a pleasant typing experience, and at an affordable price. Of course, at $156 with taxes and shipping, affordable is relative to other adjustable mechanical switches. So, does this keyboard live up to the glory? Hey gamers, my name is Minus10, and I'm a middle-aged gamer that enjoys all gear related to gaming, streaming, and content creation. So let's get the keyboard features out of the way. The DrunkDeer A75 is a 75% wired keyboard layout. The packaging that it came in is fairly simple, and the DrunkDeer A75 comes with a braided USB Type-C to USB Type-A cable, which is fairly standard in 2023, but still hard to believe that it took so long for the gaming keyboard companies to migrate to USB Type-C. When comparing the DrunkDeer A75's typing experience to other mass-produced keyboards, DrunkDeer did a stellar job. If you use a Mac, DrunkDeer includes Mac keycaps and the ability to change the layout. The board comes with a metal switch which is on the interior of the keyboard, a couple layers of foam, a sturdy but not heavy case, and nicely placed silicone feet on the underside of the keyboard. The build helps give the DrunkDeer A75 a very nice typing sound straight out of the box. That's an A+ for DrunkDeer. Now, one downside of the DrunkDeer A75 are the ABS keycaps. Initially, these keycaps felt okay, but after a week plus of typing on them, just to be totally honest, the grease factor really rose to the surface. The media dial is totally fine and has a solid tactile feel on the turn and the push down. The media dial worked fine with my Zoom calls, Apple Music, and when listening to the news. My recommendation for DrunkDeer is to make the increments a little more fine. Right now, the dial turns quite a bit between each tactile click. The delete key is in a great spot, the upper right-hand corner, and this is always important for me as I use the delete key all the time. Lastly, there is no caps lock light on the keyboard. Rather, gamers need to look at the cap locks key and determine if it's a bright white color to indicate that it's active. Depending on how you set up the RGB lighting, this may be easy or difficult to figure out. In my opinion, a simple caps lock light by the media dial would be a nice add to future keyboards. The RGB is not as bright as on other keyboards, and this is a bit of a surprise given the DrunkDeer is a wired keyboard. Gamers who want a punchy and bright RGB light show, I'm included in that bucket, are going to be a little bit disappointed with the DrunkDeer A75. Changing the lighting effects can be done directly from the keyboard using the FN2 key, which is located on the lower right-hand side of the keyboard and allows gamers to make a few changes on the fly. It's important to note that the FN2 key is not a function key, and it took me a little time to find it. The DrunkDeer keyboard OEM driver application, seriously, that's the name of the app, is pretty basic. Through the software, gamers can control Windows or Mac keyboard layouts, lighting, and set macros. Figuring out the app is pretty straightforward if you've used any peripheral application, and it only took me a few minutes before I was able to adjust my key actuation points. A little bit more on this later. So what are adjustable mechanical switches, and what's their use case in the gaming segment? So adjustable mechanical switches are keyboard switches that allow gamers to set the millimeter travel distance for when the switch actuates, i.e. triggers the switch. Now, traditional mechanical switches usually travel around 2 millimeters to actuate, but with adjustable mechanical switches, the gamer chooses. It's an awesome and extremely advantageous tech that has been slowly introduced to the gaming market. Although I'm not sure which company first launched this tech, Wooting has been the company that has really raised the tech's profile. So what is the use case? If you're only playing a single player or PvE type of games, there really isn't a need for adjustable mechanical switches. This technology is made for fast-paced first-person shooters and battle royale games where gamers are going head-to-head against each other and response times are critical to winning in-game battles. Often, many fights can come down to who can spam their key more quickly. So let's talk a little bit about DrunkDeer's implementation. DrunkDeer's technology is branded as adjustable magnetic switch, and I really tip my hat to the DrunkDeer team for keeping the name simple and easy to understand for us gamers. Unlike the SteelSeries, the actuation adjustments can be set between 0.4 and 3.6 millimeters, which is a shorter range than the SteelSeries Apex Pro TKL wireless. In reality, I didn't find this to be an issue at all because even when setting the actuation point to 0.4 millimeters, this was light enough to trigger an in-game action very quickly. Now, one thing to note with DrunkDeer software, adjustments are made in 0.2 increases or decreases. Not really sure why this is the case, but I want to make sure my viewers are aware of this aspect of the DrunkDeer keyboard. For most of my gaming keys, I set the actuation points at 0.6 millimeters, and this was fast enough to trigger my in-game actions very quickly. Now, do note, when you set your switches to a very light setting, there is a learning curve for your fingers, especially for your fingers that naturally rest on keys. Another thing to remember, when you make software changes to your DrunkDeer A75 via the app, do not forget to save your changes. I did this a few times when I was making adjustments to the keyboard. As with the SteelSeries, DrunkDeer's adjustable mechanical switches are game-changing, and of course the pun is intended. Now, for rapid trigger, DrunkDeer states that through its applications, gamers can also establish a secondary sensitivity as a reset point, so gamers don't have to release the key the entire way up to reset it. Strangely, I couldn't find this in the software application. The secondary sensitivity for a key is a feature that isn't offered on the SteelSeries Apex Pro TKL, and I will need to see what I'm doing wrong with the DrunkDeer software, as I know other YouTube reviewers have used this feature. For rapid trigger, I do normally use it only with my melee key and non-lethal utility keys in Warzone, and found it to be awesomely great. In fact, I have yet to use a single melee battle in Warzone since I started using rapid trigger. It's really cool. So, wrapping this all up, I would like to clearly state to my viewers that there is no affordable option when it comes to adjustable mechanical gaming switches. Gamers are going to spend at least $150 to get this feature in a gaming keyboard today. Unfortunately, this is the downside of being on the bleeding edge of gaming technology. So with that out of the way, if you're looking for an economical entry point, the DrunkDeer A75 is the way to go, and I can give this keyboard a solid recommendation. As of this video's recording, which is October 2023, the DrunkDeer A75 is on sale at $130 US. If you can do a little modification yourself, I'd recommend buying the bare bones version at $119 and invest in third-party PBT double shot keycaps. The ABS keycaps that come with the DrunkDeer A75, they're okay, but they do build up grease pretty fast. The gray colored keycaps I have do their best to hide the grease as much as possible, but I still have to clean it regularly. As I've mentioned before, adjustable mechanical switches are a really impressive and new keyboard technology, and I suspect all the major brands will be introducing keyboards with this tech in 2024. It's going to be an exciting year for mass-produced gaming keyboards, so stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, as well as my approach to reviewing gaming gear, I would really appreciate a sub as well as a like on the video, as both help out my tiny YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.